Hello everyone and welcome to the beautiful Marston Fields. You've got to bear with me today folks because I'm just getting over the dreaded lurgy. I've had a bit of flu and everything, but don't feel sorry for me because I can't flipping wait to come out and catch some fishes for you to do. What are we doing today then? Well, we are covering all things sort of winter Snake Lake, carp and F1's, but there's also everything else in here, so just keeping things really simple, just like last time, the one that we did at Springvale. Really simple. Obviously we'll go through the tactics and that, but before we do, I need to say, I've said where we are, but this is our lake, this is the KERVE, this is the Winning Ways Lake, so I can't wait for this. Loads of little like stockies and F1's in, but also everything else. So before we get going on the rigs, what I want to do is go and get some baiting, because I think it's going to be flipping hard. So I want to go and get some bait in first. Now what I've chose to do, which I do on all sort of like Snake Lakes, certainly this time of year, is have two swims across and then one down the middle. Now the middle one is usually your banker swim. That's where you're going to catch most of your fish from. We're going to be fast forwarding as usual today, so it might not be that it goes straight away, but I can 100% assure you that going into sort of like the last hour when that light starts to fade, that is when the middle swim comes really good. But before that, with all the commotion, naturally pushes the fish to that far bank. So what I want to do, I mean, there's a couple of different ways of starting off. I'm choosing to put a little bit of bait in today simply because I know how many fish are in here. If it was like old style big carps, this, that and the other, then I'd probably start dobbing. I wouldn't put any bait in whatsoever, certainly for carp. But newly stocked carp, F1's, them kind of things, they tend to feed. No matter how cold it gets, they tend to feed. So that's why I'm going to introduce a little bit of bait. Literally, look how simple that is. Jamie's trying to keep his distance because he don't want to catch what I've got. But how good's that? It's colourful, isn't it? I've got discos, I've got whites, I've got some pinkies in there. I just shoved them all in. I reckon I've had them since like the start of January, folks. They've been all over the flipping country with me. So starting off wise, that is all I'm putting in. So just a few sort of maggots, a couple of little pinkies in there as well. That's all that's going in on both of them swims across. So let's get some baiting over there. I suppose the main thing is markers, picking your markers and making sure you're going back to them every time. I know it's something I always say about, but it's even more so, you've got to be bang on it today. So what I've got is a little bit of wrapper tape on my pole there, where I'm lining up with my middle leg. And I've got a little tiny tuft of grass over there. So there's the biggie tuft of grass, and I've got a little tiny tuft of grass there. It's just where I'm on a slope there, it's only right shallow, but it's just where I've got like a little tiny little bit of flat bottom. I said bottom. And then exactly the same on my right hand swim. Yeah, so what's that, 10, 12 at the absolute most. You can definitely overfeed it in a one on days like this, but we want to see what the response is going to be. So I've got the same bit of tape there that I've lined up with my middle leg again, and I'm on like a white sign in the distance over there. And this lake as well, folks, it's flipping amazing for seeing your float because you've pretty much got white water everywhere. So black tip floats, oh, so good. And then last of all, so I've got like a triangle formation. Last of all, I'm going to put some bait in right down the middle. Now this one, I can afford to be a little bit more aggressive with. Obviously not flipping nuts or anything like that, but it's going to be getting one of them around every sort of 15 to 20 minutes. We'll see what the response is over there, obviously. If we don't get bites over there, obviously I'll have to go down the middle a lot earlier than what I'd like. Now with this, I've got sort of, I'm going to say 3 metres. So basically from this section there, for like 3 metres to about there, it's completely flat. Now what I want to do is fish, obviously in the deepest water, but just as that lake bed starts to rise up a little bit. Yeah, so I'm just at the bottom of the far slope. That's around there. So I've marked up with me that joint on my leg there, and I've got, I think I've got that little tuft of grass. I can't remember where my marker was, Jamie. Yeah, it was that tuft of grass. Now with this, as always, when I'm feeding down the middle, I like to spread the bait out a little bit. So you see me tap that bait in from a bit of a height, so that shock on the water, oof, it'll just send then the maggots and pinkies out over a bit of a spread. Right, that's baiting. So when I go over there, I'll probably not feed to start with. Just literally just go in and then see what the response is. Hopefully there's going to be some fish settled, but If it was bigger fish, remember, maybe a little bit deeper, start off dobbing. If it's smaller fish, stockies that have just been introduced, start off giving them a little bit of bait. Right, let's talk through the rigs then. So, first things first, this is my rig for my 2 swims across. Now I'm using short kits and short threes, anything you can do to stiffen your pole up, you know, it's so important. And I've just got our 9's Dura hybrid in there, so nice and simple, nice light elastic, but these, because it's so shallow, it's only 3.5 foot at the absolute deepest down the middle. They go absolutely nuts when you hook them. The bites are horrendous, obviously you'll see that, because they're not used to getting caught basically. But when you do hook them, they go nuts. And those little ropes across, these have changed since last time. Obviously you've got your own little baby swim now, and obviously it's great cormorant deterrent as well. So, 9's Dura, point 14 Acupower mainline on both rigs. Yeah, they're not massive in here. £1.5 is a decent fish in here, and then probably 20 inches of line, pole tip to float. It is, you've only got to look at the colour of the water. It is pretty coloured, so I'm not too bothered about, you know, my pole tip spooking the fish. Number 8 back shot just above the float as always, and now 410's F1 pellet. The reason for, is that the wrong way around? Sorry Jamie, I do apologise. The reason for an F1 pellet and not an F1 maggot is just for stability. Yeah, that wind's quite strong, although it doesn't look it up here. It's like proper blowing a gale down there, and I want my float to remain stationary, so that's why I've gone for a wire stem float. Got a tiny little number 12 stot under my float just to really dink that float right down. As I said, the bites are flipping horrendous, and I've plumbed up, even though I'm on a bit of a slope, I've plumbed up sort of like halfway down the body, something like that, just so I'm getting that curve on the curve, you like that. And then coming down the rig, I've gone for stots this time. You know, I'm a massive fan of using shots because I don't like the way our stots move, but I think because I want this rig to be quite versatile, I need to potentially move them shots around. It might be that they're going nuts over there, so I want to get my bait down right quick, so thump, put them shots right down there. It might be that I need to put all them shots, maybe leave a couple down here to create a really slow fall. I'd imagine this is usually best though, a little tiny, well, it's a tapered shotting pattern, but with a bulk sort of just over halfway, so that's nice and stable. And then I've just got, you know, these 3 number 11s just coming down the rig. Hook lengths on both are 0.10 to them beauties. I absolutely adore them hooks. The XFSBs, they're just flipping brilliant. Really, really deceivable, like, is that a word? I know what I mean to say, but I can't flipping say it. Sharp and strong, you know what I mean? They don't look strong, but flipping heck, I've had some double figure carp out of them this winter, and they're superb hooks. I can't stress how good they are enough. 4-inch hook length, and that, as I say, I plumbed up 2 swims across there, and then me down the middle one. Exactly the same elastic, 9's Dura hybrid, 2 little baby back shots, but different flow, because I've got a slightly different shotting pattern. Let me bring that around there for you, Jamie. I've got a slightly different shotting pattern on this one, in that my shots are spaced out, because I'm not going to change anything on this. That's why I've gone for a carbon stem, but F1 fine, yeah. Beauty of F1 fine is a 1.2mm bristle, nice and fine, really pick up on them real soft, delicate bites, which I'm going to expect today. I've got 2 little baby number 13s stots under there, just to really trim that float down. And then this is set, it was just over 3.5 foot, and I plumbed to sort of like the bottom of the body, because there's still like the odd sort of like hole in the bottom there where the diggers have gone in, this, that and the other. I know that is going to be on the bottom all the time. Yes, I go like a couple of inches to the left and it comes up to there when I'm on a plummet, and then I go a couple of inches to the right and it comes back down to there. So as a guide, bottom of the body of your float is a good starting point, fishing down the middle. And then shotting wise on this one, so you can see there's 18 inches, that's in the bottom of the pole, and that's roughly where my last shot ends, and that is 6 number 11 shots. Tapered again, but over quite a big area, because I'm not going to move them. I know I'm not. I want the shots to be exact, just so it brings that bait in nice and natural. So I think without further ado, we need to go and see if we can catch some fishies, don't we? Should we do it? Let's do it. bait is on them, folks. Get in on that, Jamie. Look at that. What fish can resist a red magpie tipped with a disco pinky? I think it's my all-time favourite is winter bait in the world. So I'm not going to feed, remember. Literally both up through the tip. I'm not going to feed this time. Just going to go in and see what's what. Because we put that bait in, what, 8-10 minutes ago, something like that. We don't need to, well, we might need to feed. We'll see what the response is first. And I'm going to give each swim sort of 5-6 minutes. For me, your bite should come within sort of 2 or 3 minutes. Even though it's freezing cold, it's only dead shallow. Because there's like all sorts of everything else in, obviously we want to catch a carp in the F1's, 5-6 minutes is more than enough. If I don't catch, I'll come back, feed that one, and then try that one again. So, here we go, there's my tape. Now you see I'm laying that rig in, so bait in towards you, and then shove it up the slope. So that's that bulk of shots in there now, so that that rig, or the bait, goes right against that slope. Just bring that up a little bit. That is dotted, that. It might be a bit too dotted. But the bites, remember the bites on here from last time were absolutely rubbish. You've got to be absolutely bang on it. I'm trying to keep that as stable as possible. Can you pick that float out on there, Jamie?
I could see it, but I don't think I can.
Oh dear. So what I might do then is come back and put a tiny little bit of grease on then. Oh! Hey, go on the goujons! Little tiny bite. Well, at least we've not blanked. Oh, go on. First fish then, Jane. What are you saying? Little baby goujon. Love a goujon. Absolutely adore a goujon. Go in. He's going in there. Right, I'm just going to take one of them. That start off there, because that float is a bit low. It's only when that wind gets up, it's nice to see when it's not, but that wind gets up, it's flipping hard to see that float. Right, again, disco pinky. Now obviously gudgeon, they will. Yep, same again, red maggot, little disco pinky. And I'm going to put some bait in this time as well. I'm not going to move swims yet because gudgeon, if it was a carp or an F1 I'd have caught there, I'd have gone back in, fed it and tried that other swim, but don't need to for now. Yeah, literally 10, 12, that's all. Make sure when you're shipping out with no lid on, just give it a little dink in the water like that and that'll keep all your bait in until you're shipped out. You could put a little lid on if you want, but I like to just feed these in a wunner. Just in a nice little thunk, little thump. So there's my marker, my little tape. So a little bit past it, up from a height, tap that bait in, there we go. Come back and bring that rig over and into your bait. That's a little bit better, still a bit low. I'll have to put a little bit of grease on it. Go on the goujons. You know, obviously I'm fishing maggots today because it's a bait that it will obviously catch absolutely everything swimming, but you know, by all means try going in with pellets, corn skin, bread, that kind of thing. There's no right and wrong with it. Just prefer maggots this time of year because you're going to catch absolutely everything. It's a great bait. Oh, I want to lift and drop, but I'm not going to. No. Oh. There's a little tiny dink then, probably another goujon. Go on the goujons. So, right, so that's had 5 or 6 minutes and no other signs after that little bit of a feed. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to feed that swim, I'm just going to literally lift my rig out and get onto my marker again. And then go, where's my marker there? And go on this other swim here. Try that again, I can pass my marker. So again, pull the rigging back towards you. And then just let that float, or that bait go into the bank nice and natural. It's just a case of switching between the two. I mean, on here I can't go too far out of my peg because obviously there's ropes, but on other venues, you know, you can chase them right down and out of your peg. Can be a bit awkward sometimes. Certainly going this way, if you're right-handed, it's natural to want to go. Oh, that was a little dink then. It's natural to want to go to the left. So that float just come up a little bit then. Go on fishies. Sometimes you get bites straight away, other times, you know, it'll take a little bit of the fish almost sort of swimming round to find you. Whereas obviously match conditions, you haven't got anywhere to hide, somebody somewhere will be on them. Whereas when you're on your own, they can back off a little bit. I'm sure we'll get a few bites. I'm sure we will. Definitely had a little bit of an indication there. Would be another goujon protecting the bait. So what I'll do, I'll give this 5-6 minutes again. If I don't catch anything, I'll come back and feed that middle line. We need to feed that middle line again. It's probably been 15 minutes since I last fed that. Oh, that looks perfect now. Go on, fishies. There we go then, folks, and it wouldn't take long. So I've had 5 minutes on that right hand one where we had that little baby hybrid, not another bite, and I've just come back to my left hand one, had a little liner, and then gone straight back in, and we are rewarded with a beautiful F1. The bite was flipping horrendous, and that fish is like colder than an ice cube, but look at that, stunning little baby F1. 7 out of 10? 7 out of 10 in. Love it. Absolutely adore it. Now, I'd imagine it's taken, 15 minutes, something like that, to get that first proper bite. And usually what happens, you can sort of like bounce fish off each swim now. Well, maybe not yet, because as I said, I had 5 minutes on that one and not a bite. So what I'll probably do is go back on that swim and see if we can get another bite. If we don't in 5 minutes, then it'll tell me for next time that I need to go in, feed it, not try it, go on that other swim. So you sort of like rest in the swims, if you like. I mean, you can do the same like in the summer. There's no different, but it just seems to work better this time of year in the winter. So you're letting the fish settle. But how it is on these kind of waters, I say sometimes they can just rock up all of a sudden. So good. So again, tiny few maggots in. Just draw your float in. So that bite, it was like, did that float move then? And then it was on. I definitely want to get into the carp, because they're beautiful little ghosty mirrors and commons, are stunning little fish. Hopefully we'll catch some of them. Some massive perch in as well. Be nice to catch one of them. But it's fish like that, them F1's, smaller carp, they will always be obliging and have a chew on the coldest of cold days. Right, that's it, look at that, it's sitting perfect now. That wind's just gone a little bit. It's almost as if when they feed, I remember it from last year when I fished it a couple of times, even in the summer or even when it was warmer, they sort of come into your peg and just eat and don't, sort of like shoot off. It's just as if they're still feeding on your bait, and then with the bites that you get, if you didn't have your float dotted, you just wouldn't see them. Down the middle I'll be doing a lot of lifting and dropping, because I remember from last time they did like to watch the bait down. But over on slopes like we are there, I'm a bit reluctant to. Because I don't want to ruin that KERVE. So you would have thought that if you, rocked up, swimming around in the little groups, you'd have had a bite fairly quick again then. So it might be that I do need to just bounce the swims, rotate the swims. So I'm not trying to go and catch another one. I always like to have a quick, there's some fishing going on down the middle. Hopefully that's fish and not air bubbles. Look at them little bubbles there down the middle. Oh, Jamie couldn't go down the middle yet. I hope they're fish, folks. I really do. They're on my line. Yeah, I can't remember what I was on about now. Oh yeah, rotating. Yeah, you see that? That was like, just didn't even flipping move, did it? Oh, what's that? Might be a poppadom. Like, the bites are absolutely horrendous. Is it a poppadom? Is it an F1? Can't flipping see, Jamie. What was it? Is it poppadom? I think Jamie can't even see as well. I think this is another F1. He says it's poppadom. Jamie, he's right up there, folks. You know what I mean? Even he didn't know what it was. But look at that beautiful little sort of like metallic-y, ghosty F1. Oh, and he's 10 out of 10. I really hope you got that. You saw how delicate that bite was, because that's what you're up against. Right, so that did come to feed, that, didn't it? I mean, it's taken about 2 or 3 minutes, but I'm more than happy with that. As I said, usually most of your bites are within 2 or 3 minutes. So what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to change that bait. I'm going to feed that swim again, the one that I've just been on. Ooh, that's too many. Too many. Take some out, Andrew. Getting carried away, Jamie. You've got to blooming watch me, mate. There you go. I'm going to feed that swim I've just caught that from. Because we did catch it in feed. I'm going to come back, change my bait, feed that right-hand swim, but then go and fish this swim again. So by the time I come back, you know, there's going to be like 90 seconds to 2 minutes gone. Hopefully, that might be what we need to do. There we go. It's just getting into a rhythm. So it's all about... God, I'm so excited we saw them fishing down the middle then. Right, so now I need to change my bait. You probably could get away with using that same bait, but you know what I'm like. I hate using the same bait. I always like to change it. So, red maggot, disco pinky, and then I'm going to put some more bait in. Got to watch me, Jamie. Yeah, that's not too much in there. It needs a red maggot in now. There we go. Dink that underwater. Pull that elastic back a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to feed me right and swim, but I'm going to back and fish that one because that bait's settled now. You get to rhythm like that, it can really work. So feed that one. That's over my leg. That's over my marker there. There we go. Right, come back to this one. Getting late back in towards you. Right, here we go. Both of them bites I've had absolutely horrendous. I'm just going to pull that float up a little bit so it's on the slope. There we go. So hopefully we'll get a bite a little bit quicker this time. If they are coming to that, well, it's obviously they're coming to that bait. It's as if like it's a liner. You just expect them to be really aggressive, but because they're so cold, they don't really want to move that fast. And obviously not. Oh, they're a bit slow on the old flipping bruise today, aren't they, bringing them to us? Honestly. Oh, there we go. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Oh, it's gone under the ropes. Do you see what I mean about that time? We had that bite a little bit quicker because I've gone in and I've fed some bait. Yes, I'm going to do exactly the same again. Don't worry about it going through your middle swim. You know, as long as it doesn't charge through, that'll be fine. I think this might be a carp. No, it's a bigger F1. Oh, go ahead. Flipping out, they have grown. Didn't catch anything like this last year in here. Look at the size of them beauties. Look at that, folks. How's that? Coming to me peg and giving me the smallest bite in the world. It's got a belly on it like my mate Jamie of the Hughes. Sorry, J-Lad. It's just your winter weight though, isn't it, mate? Look at that. That is absolutely stunning. He's getting on for £2, him. Look at that. Beautiful F1. Absolutely stunning. So, what I'm going to do now, again, exactly the same again. He was hungry, he's burgled both my maggots. Yeah, so both my maggots have come off. I'm going to go and feed that swim again. Yeah, Andrew, don't overfeed it. Now they've rocked up. Andrew, stop overfeeding it. Got to watch me, folks. I'm going to feed that swim again, exactly the same as what I've just done. But, because that bait, put it in, 3 minutes ago there, I'm going to have a quick go on that right hand swim one. If I can get them where I can rotate and bounce fish off each swim, then your swims are going to last a lot longer than if you just sort of like, you know, fishing one swim and just exhausting it, that kind of thing. But, you know, there'll be days where I always say one swim is always better than the other one when you're fishing like this. So it's just a case of finding out which swim is the better one. So them shots are all alright. Now I am going to put some bait in, but not over there. I'm going to feed down the middle. So remember, just a few more. If they're feeding over there, hopefully they'll be down the middle as well. So I'm just going to stop on my joint, which is there. Get over to my marker, which is there, and then tap that bait in down the middle. There we go. Right, and now I'm going to try. I'm not going to give it long, because we had that fish pretty quick there last time. Within sort of 90 seconds, maybe a minute. I'm only going to give it a couple of minutes here. There we go. But if there's one there, it'll have it quick, because it'll, put that bait in 5 minutes ago. Come on. Lovely fishing, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. Just got to be patient. Well, we didn't, not really waited that long, to be fair. What, 10, 15 minutes maybe for our first F1, and then nice and steady away now. This is exactly what I'll be doing in a match. I'm pleasuring as well. Get the best out of both swims or all swims, and just leave and leave and leave that middle swim for as long as you can. Again, we're not going to leave it too long today, because I want to be getting back into the warm. So I want to fast forward everything. But it's still flipping early. What is it? It's literally 10:30 in the morning. That's all it is. Matches would have started, well, a couple of minutes. So the longer you can leave the swim, certainly that deeper middle one, the better. So even though, we've not had anything decent on this swim yet, when you had that one bite, that little hybrid roachy thing, it doesn't mean that they won't rock up there at some point. You can never give up on your swims, certainly when you've only got two. If I've got like 3, 4, 5, when it's really, really cold and you can't feed and it's all about dobbing, then that's different. But when you put a little bit of bait in, just have these two swims, but never ever give up on them. Yeah, so that's had, 90 seconds, 2 minutes. If I'd have been on that left-hand swim, I think I'd have had a bite. That's more than enough. Yeah, I'm going to come off that. I'm going to go back on this one. Just rotating. Right, this is, I suppose when you get confident in the swim as well, it just sort of like breathes into your fishing, that kind of thing. You just know you're going to get a bite. We hope. Come on. Unless there's a massive shoal rocked up there and just nailed everything that I've fed. Might have done. That's it. Go on the F1's. Oh, go on the carps. So I really want to catch one of them ghosty mirrors for you. Beautiful, yeah. Or it might be now that I've had my little run, and that's it. It might be that I don't get another bite in this spell of fishing it over there. So I might have to come down the middle or rotate a little bit more, But there was definitely a little pattern then coming into that bait. Oh, there we go. Said we'd get a bite. That's a silver. So it can be sometimes a sign to come off it, if the silvers have rocked up again, but it's all about getting bites, isn't it? If I was in a match, I'd be straight back on that swim. Catch another one. But, oh, look at that. Lovely roach to end on across there. Beautiful, them. Absolutely stunning. Flipping freezing. Right, let's get down that middle. So, what would I do back over there? If I was coming off it over there, now bearing in mind, I wouldn't change anything if I was in a match in a minute, even, sort of pleasuring, I'd be just putting that bait in on both swims, yeah? So once you come off a swim, every sort of 10 or 15 minutes, the reverse of what you've been doing down the middle, been feeding that every 15 minutes, just do over there. So that's what you need to be doing. Right, fingers crossed for this middle. So, first things first, I'm going to unship my pole. Flipping cold my hands were, folks. Right, and what bait we're putting on? What bait do you know what bait we're putting on? Don't change, never change. So single red magpie and disco pinky, that one there. Go through the tip, absolutely perfect. Right, let's get a little bit of bait in there as well. Right, now hopefully, yeah, I've not overfed it, Jamie. Flipping it, did you see him then, folk? Honestly. Right, I'm not going to wet on these ones because I'm not shipping that far out. Literally one big pull back like that, and I'm on my marker already. So first things first, there's my marker. I'll tap that bait in from a bit of a height, and then lay that rig out. Now what I'm going to do is hold a tight line to start with. The bite's down here. Again, horrendous. So usually after you've been feeding it for so long, you normally get bites pretty quick, but as I say, we're definitely going on it too early, but hopefully we'll catch something. Hopefully. Now down here I do need to be moving it quite often. Could probably do with a little babby shot on that actually. It's settled now, so I'm just going to lift and flop it back down. Most of your bites, certainly on here, they were coming off that lift and drop last time, or laying it in all the time as well. Yeah, I need another shot on that. That's like a flipping lighthouse, that. Not liking that. That's better. Just had a bit of grease on it from last time. Go on. See, I'm lifting and dropping quite a bit on this line. But again, experiment on the day. But I couldn't go off last time what it was like. Oh, ha 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 ha! That's first bite then. Could have been a small fish, could have been a goujon, but it's a bite. Definitely gone on it too early, but it is what it is. Just going in, just bear in mind match conditions, just leave it as long as possible. So this is hard, a good 15 minutes, folks, and we've not had a bite, but 100% it will come good later on. But obviously I've just gone on it too early, miles too early in fact, just because I wanted to try and fast forward. But I just want to show you why you wouldn't have come off them fish over there if you were, you know, pleasure in match conditions definitely, and then just leave and leave and leave this swim till last knockings. Yeah, I'm going to come off that. So just keep on feeding it as you were, sort of 15 to 20 minutes, something like that. Now what I'm going to do is exactly the same as what I was doing when I was catching over there, that left hand one. Come back, bait up, feed me right hand one, and then fish this left hand one. Again, just into a rhythm. Because we've had a good 20-minute rest there now, so hopefully we'll be into some fish fairly quick. There we go. It's a shame that middle swim didn't go, but you almost know. And then when it gets a time of day, sort of like 1 o'clock onwards, usually 1:30, 2, when that light starts to go, that's when it's like proper get ready time. The old favourites, Disco Pinky and the red magpie. Oh no, burst him. No, can't be having a burst one on. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And then feed that right hand swim. Checking up on me again, Jim. I wasn't feeding too much. Got my marker over there. Just that tape on that leg. Get that bait in. And then come back to this one. where hopefully get a bite fairly quick. Did we end it on there? Last time we had a roach, didn't we? A nice roach. Yeah, there we go. So that was right on. Probably 5 minutes that. So it just shows you why you wouldn't have come off them over there to go down that middle. Oh, another little F1 as well. It shows you how cold it is, not bloody fighting. Go on. Well, even on the absolute freezing coldest of cold days, we're still getting bites. Look at that. Ooh, he's 9.87 out of 10. That, Jamie. Beautiful fish. Another ice cube. Stunning F1s, though, aren't they? You see how you soon do away with them if you know, rotating them swims and getting them going. But I think that's all there is to go through, folks, to be honest with you. Now, I've proved the point there why you wouldn't necessarily or ever come off feeding fish. We knew there's fish there, and obviously that swim is miles better than that one, but that can change like that. Might be that I go in there this time, if I had another go, I'm definitely carrying on for a bit, have another go there, I might not get a bite. 10-15 minutes, I'll go back on that one, and that's solid. But one thing is absolutely guaranteed, they will turn up at some point down the middle. They always do. Sometimes you might get a couple of hours on them, sometimes you might get an hour, sometimes you might literally get a couple of bites, with 10 or 15 minutes to go, but there'll be these big old F1s or carp, that kind of thing. So convince the carp will, feed later on. What time are we on? Flip it, it's not even 11 o'clock yet. 10 to 11, so it's like proper. But I'm going to carry on for a little bit more. Remember, key things to remember is if it is smaller sort of carp, F1s, shallow water, try putting a little bit of bait in first, then you can judge from there. If it's big, clever, big F1s, carp, that kind of thing, always go dobbing first. I wouldn't feed at all to start off with for them, but make sure you have got a swim like in the deepest bit of water where you're going to be putting some bait in for like later on, and 100% they'll come good. And then just stick to your guns, to keep rotating the swim, see what they want. It was obvious that when I put that bait in first, left it to settle for a minute, 2 minutes, went back over it, eventually you get a bite, then fish getting a little bit more confident, rather than when we tapped a little bit of bait in after that gudgeon and that roach, we didn't have a bite on them. So it's obvious that they were coming to that bait but wanting to settle first. So get out there, give it a try, folks. In fact, no, wait until it gets summertime and just fish shallow. But I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've liked it, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and that is going to tell you when we're putting out these fantastic videos. Hey!